So when you type a simple, two-character string into a search bar, you generally expect a highly specific outcome, like a binary outcome.
Right, yeah. You want a direct answer.
Exactly. If you search for the word apple, you're looking for either the fruit or the tech company. The intent is usually pretty narrow, but occasionally you input a query so deceptively simple that it just, it shatters into a dozen different realities. You don't get a direct answer.
You get a collision, like a massive collision of human history, metallurgy, global economics, and even entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. And welcome to another deep dive. We're so glad you've pulled up a chair to the table with us today because we're looking at a single, highly unusual piece of source material.
Very unusual.
It is a Wikipedia disambiguation page.
Yeah.
Just a single page. And the title is literally just the $ followed by the number 1, so $1.
Just those two keystrokes.
Right. And our mission today is to explore how those two keystrokes act as a hidden portal.
And to kind of set the scene for you, I've got my backdrop today displaying this minimalist, interconnected web of glowing symbols. They're all branching out from a single center point.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it represents the underlying premise of a disambiguation page, really. The source text explicitly states at the very top that this page exists to assist you if an internal link incorrectly led you here.
Okay, I want to pause on that phrase right there. Incorrectly led you here. It implies that whoever linked the symbol $1 just assumed there was a universal consensus on what it meant.
Right. They assumed their definition was the only definition in the world.
Exactly.
It acts as an accidental mirror. The system essentially throws its hands up and asks the user to clarify their intent because the symbol itself carries just, way too much contradictory weight.
It really proves that $1 is this linguistic intersection where multiple different human intents crash into each other. You, the person searching, might just be looking for the value of that crumpled paper bill in your pocket. But the source material proves that $1 is simultaneously a heavy piece of metal in Oceania, a line of invisible digital architecture, and like a 2018 Hollywood mystery thriller.
It's kind of wild when you frame it like that.
It is wild. Okay, let's unpack this. I want to start with the most tangible physical stuff first. Let's talk about the physical evolution of money.
Let's just start.
Because the source material doesn't just list currencies, right? It actually documents a shift in how we physically hold wealth.
Yeah, the list provides a surprisingly detailed map of how different countries handle the physical format of the number 1. It tracks the physical manifestation of value.
And what caught my attention isn't just the list of nations, but the explicit editorial notes attached to specific countries. The text goes out of its way to note format changes.
Right, the transition from paper to metal.
Yeah. For example, it lists the Australian $1 coin, but then it specifically adds the phrase, which replaced the $1 note.
And it repeats that exact same phrasing for the New Zealand $1 coin.
Yes. And it also notes that Canada underwent a similar transition, replacing its paper bill with a coin affectionately named the Loonie.
The Loonie, yeah. So you see a very clear trend in Oceania and North America of moving away from paper and moving toward metal for the specific denomination.
Right. And it reads like a timeline of technological adoption, almost like the global shift from vinyl records to CDs.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Thanks. You have this worldwide upgrade toward a more durable physical format. A metal coin survives circulation for decades, whereas a paper note just degrades rapidly.
It wears out, yeah.
But I want to push back on the Wikipedia page's framing here. Why does a disambiguation page, which is supposed to be purely utilitarian traffic control, why bother to specifically highlight the replacement?
That's a really good question.
Like, why note the ghost of the old paper note right next to the new metal coin?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the encyclopedia is inherently tasked with mapping human knowledge, right? And human knowledge relies entirely on context.
Okay, go on.
The $1 isn't just a static mathematical concept. For the people living in Australia, New Zealand, or Canada during those transitions, $1 fundamentally changed its physical properties.
Oh, I see.
When a nation transitions from a silent paper note that folds in your wallet to a heavy metal coin that jingles in your pocket, it actually alters the physical sensation of wealth.
Wow, yeah, it really does.
The disambiguation page captures that tactile history because an incorrect internal link might actually be pointing to the historical paper note, not the modern coin.
That makes total mechanical sense. The encyclopedia has to account for the timeline. If you're reading a book set in 1970 Sydney, $1 means paper.
Exactly.
But if it's set in 1990, it means metal. And that brings us to the United States, which the source material highlights as a total outlier here.
Yeah, the United States maintains a dual system.
It does. The source lists the United States $1 bill as a denomination of currency, but then right below it, it lists the dollar coin as a metal coin. They're running both formats simultaneously.
It's pretty unique in that regard.
And then, at the complete opposite end of the spectrum, the text highlights the $1 banknotes of Zimbabwe. So you have Canada and Australia entirely on metal, the U.S. stubbornly holding on to both.
As usual.
Right. And Zimbabwe noted specifically for paper banknotes.
It really demonstrates that the adoption of physical currency formats isn't just about the logical durability of metal over paper.
What else is it about, though?
It involves systemic inertia, cultural attachment, and localized economic pressures. The United States has this massive vending machine infrastructure and a deep cultural habit tied heavily to the paper dollar.
Oh, right, the vending machines.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Zimbabwe's economic history dictates completely different logistical necessities for its physical currency. So the $1 page accidentally serves as a ledger of these varied national infrastructural choices.
That is so interesting. So the physical shape of the $1 is highly localized. But here's where it gets really interesting. When we move from the physical shape of the money to the geographical spread of the symbol itself, things get incredibly messy.
Oh, absolutely.
The source material groups a massive chunk of the globe under the heading of dollars.
The sheer volume of sovereign nations using that specific designation is just staggering.
I won't read the whole list, obviously,
Yeah.
but the geographical footprint is wild. You have the Bahamian dollar in the Caribbean, the Namibian dollar in Africa.
The new Taiwan dollar in Asia.
Yes, it spans practically every continent. But under that massive dollars list, the source includes a currency that doesn't seem to fit the naming convention at all, the Samoan tala.
Right, the Samoan tala is grouped right in there with the traditional dollars.
But then the text shifts to a new category called pesos, listing nations like Argentina, Cuba, and Mexico. And finally, we hit this catch-all category called other currencies, using $1. This bucket includes the Cape Verdean escudo and the Tungan palanga.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grab bag at the end.
So I have to challenge this categorization. Why is the Samoan tala, which doesn't even use the word dollar, grouped under the dollars header, while the Tungan palanga is relegated to the other currencies bucket?
It seems inconsistent.
To me, this suggests that the dollar symbol isn't a neutral mathematical sign at all. It is a highly subjective map of historical influence.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, your assessment is totally correct. The categorization appears contradictory because it reflects the messy reality of post-colonial economics.
Oh, interesting. How so?
The See Also section of our source material provides the critical mechanism for understanding this. It explicitly traces the word peso to the monetary unit of Spain and its several former Spanish colonies.
Ah, so we are looking at the linguistic residue of the Spanish Empire.
Precisely. The dollar symbol originated in the complex trade networks of the Spanish Empire and was later adopted by the United States.
Which then became a dominant global economic force.
Exactly. The symbol itself indicates a shared global financial language that bridges massive cultural divides.
So it's like a universal translator for trade.
Yes, and when you ask why the Samoan tala is grouped with dollars, or why the Cape Verdean escudo uses the dollar symbol, you have to look at the mechanisms of global trade.
Right. Countries doing business with each other.
Nations often adopt the recognized visual shorthand of dominant economic blocs to facilitate international commerce, even if their spoken word for the currency remains completely localized.
That is a crucial distinction. The visual symbol standardizes, even when the spoken language doesn't.
Yeah. The Disambiguation Page is implicitly outlining centuries of empire building and economic standardization.
Wow.
The fact that the exact same symbol represents the monetary unit in a Caribbean island nation, a Southern African republic, and a South American country highlights how the dollar symbol basically became a universal UI element for global wealth.
A universal UI element. I love that phrasing.
It overwrites local designations in favor of international legibility.
I see the logic there. When we look at that list on the Wikipedia page, we aren't just seeing sovereign choices. We're seeing which economies were absorbed into this shared visual language of value.
Exactly.
The $1 symbol is literally a linguistic artifact of globalization.
It is the ultimate shorthand, which honestly makes the final section of the source material all the more jarring.
I was just going to say, let's completely shift gears here. We have mapped the $1 across the physical globe, tracing the metal, the paper, and the colonial echoes.
Time for the abstract.
Yes. Now we need to move from the physical world into the abstract, because the source material takes a very sharp turn in the other uses section. It forces us to ask, what happens when $1 represents no monetary value whatsoever?
And this is where the premise of the disambiguation page proves its true worth.
How do you mean?
Well, the incorrect internal links aren't just coming from people searching for international currency rates. The symbol has been co-opted by entirely non-financial systems.
Yes, under the other uses heading, the source defines $1 as a formal parameter in some programming languages. Just, sit with that leap for a second.
It's quite a jump.
We've gone from the heavy metallurgy of a Canadian loonie and the historical weight of the Spanish peso to a completely invisible, abstract piece of digital architecture.
And then immediately below that, the final entry on the page lists $1 as an American mystery thriller drama television series that premiered in 2018.
We travel from the strict syntax of computer science to the emotional manipulation of Hollywood thrillers in literally 2 lines of text.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So what does this all mean? I want to pose a theory to you and to you listening about why these 2 specific things share a page with global currency.
I'm all ears. Let's hear it.
Let's look at the mechanism of a formal parameter in computer programming. A parameter like $1 is essentially a placeholder.
Right.
It's a hollow box within a script, waiting for a user or a system to input a value so the program can execute its command. It has no intrinsic value. Its only purpose is to hold the space for future context.
That is an accurate description of the mechanism, yes. It is pure structural utility.
Now compare that to a mystery thriller. In a narrative structure, a clue is also a placeholder.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
It is an empty box presented to the audience, waiting for a narrative resolution at the end of the series. Has $1 fundamentally become the ultimate blank slate in modern society?
That's a fascinating way to frame it.
Is it just a globally recognized symbol that we project our immediate needs onto? Like, if we need a machine to run a command, we project logic onto it. If we need a captivating story, we project mystery onto it.
This raises a really important question about how we interact with universal symbols in the information age. Your placeholder analogy is incredibly sharp, but we have to distinguish why these different disciplines chose this specific placeholder.
Okay, lay it out for me.
In programming languages, like a Bash script, for instance, the choice of Shift+4 and the number 1 is largely arbitrary convention.
It's just a keystroke.
Exactly. It's chosen for brevity and keyboard accessibility. It is a functional vessel.
Right, the computer doesn't care about the history of the Spanish peso.
Exactly. But think about why a television network would name a mystery drama $1. The creators of that 2018 thriller were deliberately leveraging the exact universal recognition we just spent time dissecting.
Oh, because everyone immediately knows what it means.
Yes. They know that $1 carries immense physical, historical, and emotional weight for the audience. Money represents motive, survival, greed, exchange.
Wow, yeah.
So they take that globally recognized symbol of tangible value and they weaponize it as a narrative hook.
That is a brilliant distinction. The programming parameter uses the symbol because it is empty. The television show uses the symbol because it is full.
Yes, perfectly said. In code, it is devoid of cultural gravity. In entertainment, it relies entirely on cultural gravity.
That makes so much sense.
But in both cases, the symbol itself requires the user to supply the context. Without the surrounding code, the parameter does absolutely nothing. Without the surrounding script, the TV title means nothing.
It is a vessel waiting for context. Without the context, it's just a string of pixels on a screen. And that reality brings us full circle to the very nature of the disambiguation page we started with.
It really does. The page literally exists because the encyclopedia software cannot provide the context for you.
Right.
It halts the search process and essentially demands, what intent did you bring to the keyboard today?
It forces the user to clarify their reality. Wow! Let's pull all of this together because the ground we've covered from this single source is just remarkable.
It's been quite a journey.
We started this deep dive looking at a seemingly dry administrative Wikipedia page designed simply to correct bad links for the 2-character string $1.
Just a basic traffic cop of a page.
But instead of a boring list of trivia, this page served as a structured tour through distinct facets of the human experience. We explored the mechanisms of physical metallurgy, examining the tactile shift from folding paper to jingling coins.
And how nations like Canada and Australia fully transitioned while the U.S. just, runs parallel systems.
Exactly. We then traced the mechanics of post-colonial global economics. We explored how the lineage of the Spanish peso and the expansion of global trade turned a local insignia into a shared financial UI.
Right, homogenizing the visual representation of wealth across continents, from Samoa to Cape Verde.
And finally, we dove into the digital and narrative realms. We discovered how those exact same two characters function simultaneously as the invisible, logical architecture of computer programming and as the psychological, emotional hook for a Hollywood mystery thriller.
It's incredible.
All of that history, logic, and art contained on a single traffic control page.
It really emphasizes the sheer density of information hidden in our daily automated interactions, which honestly leaves us with a final thought to ponder, drawing directly on the source material's initial warning about incorrect internal links.
Oh, I like a final thought. Let's hear it.
The next time you type a simple, ubiquitous symbol into a search bar, or use a common shorthand in a text, ask yourself what mechanism you are actually engaging with. When we type $1, are we looking for a mathematical measure of human labor, a digital command to execute a machine function, or a narrative story to entertain us?
That's a great question.
The disambiguation page proves that in our modern information age, the most universal symbols we share are not the most precise. In fact, the more universal a symbol becomes, the more likely it is to lead us down completely divergent paths.
The destination depends entirely on the hidden context you carry with you.
Exactly.
The more universal a symbol is, the less precise it becomes. That is a deeply compelling concept to walk away with. We open by noting that when you ask a simple question of a search engine, you expect a straight, binary answer.
But it's rarely that simple.
It isn't. The reality of this source material shows that the search bar is often just a mirror, reflecting our own tangled, contradictory world right back at us. Thank you so much for pulling up a chair and joining us at the table for this deep dive. Stay curious, keep questioning the seemingly simple things, and we will see you next time.